You don't really need the steps.
First of all, I want to thank Lance and his team for turning out such a great crowd today. Lance, you know, we could have used a bigger room. But this actually looks pretty cool the way it is right now. So thank you very much. And I must say, every time I have a chance to come out and spend a few minutes at the Harley House and have a chance to renew my friendship with Mary Padula, who I served in state government with in the 1990s, is a bonus. So Mary, I don't know where you are, but I just want to say thank you so much. And Bob, it's always good to see you as well. A real true stalwart for our party and a great representative for the people of this region. Thank you for everything you've done over the years. So a lot of people have said to me, "Gee, Charlie, how come you're doing this again? You know, wasn't 2010 enough?" And the real answer to that is a big part of why I'm doing this again has a lot to do with my experience in 2010. I had this unique opportunity to walk around the Commonwealth and drive around the Commonwealth and get to meet a lot of people and make a lot of friends and make some new friends. And as I look around this room, I see a lot of people that I never would have had a chance to meet and get to know if I hadn't gotten into the race in 2010. And when people ask me why I would do this again, my answer is I'm doing it not in spite of 2010, but because of what I learned and the people I got to meet when I ran in 2010. Because Massachusetts is a great state, and it is filled with great people. And I kept saying to myself, do I believe that we have a state government that's as great as the people that I met here in Massachusetts? And the answer to that question in my mind was no. Well, let me just ask you a few questions. Let's try this one. Do you think state government stretches a buck as far as the people of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts? These are not hard, folks. Do you think state government is as clever and as creative as the people of the great state of Massachusetts? Do you think state government is as reform-oriented as the people of the great state of Massachusetts? Do you think state government has the same priorities as the great people of Massachusetts? Well, that was pretty much what I came to the same conclusion. And for me, this race is about giving the Commonwealth of Mass a state government that's as great as the people of this great state. That's what you should expect, that's what you deserve, and that's what you should demand. And when I think about what's going on Beacon Hill right now, when I think about what's going on with DCF, which for everybody who lives in this part of Massachusetts, you know better than most, the tragedy of the Jeremiah Oliver case, and all that's played out since then, you know, frankly, you deserve better. And when I think about what's going on with the Health Connector, 200,000 people currently enrolled somehow in transitional coverage, 50,000 people who don't have any coverage at all, whose applications are still being processed, small businesses that are seeing 30, 40, and 50% increases in their premiums because of the federal health care law. Let me tell you something, people in Massachusetts deserve better. That's right. I mean, when you think about where we were before all this federal reform began, 97% of our population covered. Governor Romney spent $3 million on a website that worked. And while the system certainly wasn't perfect, it was basically working for the people of Massachusetts. And now the state has dug us into this deep hole from which we may, going to take us a really long time to climb out. And I've had lots of conversations with lots of people who've said to me, I don't know if I have coverage. I've actually paid my premium. The state has cashed my check, but I have no idea if I have coverage. I don't know if I can get prescriptions filled for my kids. I don't know where I am. What can I do? And I'm telling you, again, people in Massachusetts deserve better.
That's right.
And when you think about all the issues associated with EBT, fraud, and the welfare programs, again, most people in Massachusetts absolutely believe the people who are in need and need help should get it. But a lot of folks grind their teeth when they look at the way these programs are run and the way they're administered and the way they're managed. They don't have the integrity that they should have. They don't have the discipline and the focus they should have. And most importantly of all, they don't reflect well on the people of this great state of Massachusetts. And when you just go down the line, one after another, the compounding pharmacy, for a pharmacy scandal, 38 people dead as a result of the state's inability to manage the regulatory affairs of the compounding pharmacies, the Annie Dukin issues, and all of the state crime lab issues that have come about as a result of that, all the people who were let back out of jail as a result of that scandal. I mean, it's just one after another, and I just stand there and I say to myself, do you think we can do better? Yeah! So do we. Now, I've been there before. I served in the Weldon-Cellucci administrations back in the 1990s, and I remember when we walked in the door facing an $800 million deficit, and everybody on Beacon Hill said, you'll never be able to balance the budget without raising taxes. Well, they were wrong. I remember hearing over and over from people, you'll never be able to fix what's broken with our workers' comp system. They were wrong. I think about people saying, well, you'll never be able to reform welfare. They were wrong. And I remember people saying, you'll never be able to fix the economy and get people back to work. Somehow, over the course of that 10-year period when Bill and Paul were governor, lieutenant governor, and then Paul was governor, we went from having the highest unemployment rate in the country to having the lowest unemployment rate in the country. And Massachusetts created 500,000 net new jobs over that 10-year period of time. The pundits, the naysayers, again, they were wrong. Well, this is a time and an opportunity for us to prove to them again that they are wrong. This state can grow. This state can create a competitive climate economically. This state can be great. And Karen and I and a whole bunch of reform-oriented Republicans who are running for the House and the Senate are going to win in November. And in January, we are going to take Massachusetts in a different direction. One that's built on this fundamental notion that the state needs to play by the same rules regular people play by. The state needs to live within its means. The state needs to hold itself accountable for actually delivering every day on the people of this great state. And the state needs to partner with local government and local officials to get the people's work done. Over the course of the past 6 years, state government spending has increased by $6 billion, and local aid has been cut by $500 million. State government has been balancing its budget in part on the backs of the Commonwealth cities and towns. And what's that meant? It's meant higher property taxes, more fees, fewer services. And for senior citizens, those higher property taxes for people living on fixed incomes, it's frightening. Not just a problem, it's frightening. And when you talk to parents who are saying, geez, $250 for my kid to play soccer, $300 for my other kid to play hockey, how am I supposed to be able to keep my kids engaged in sort of those extracurricular activities around town? And when you talk to local officials who've been squeezing the proverbial blood out of a stone, their answer is really simple. They just want to be able to share in the same growth in tax revenue that the state does. Not complicated. There's only one team in this race, Charlie Baker and Karen Polito, that has pledged that local aid will grow proportionally at the same rate state tax revenue goes. All right. Because we believe, Jim, the kids like yours who are trying to do what makes sense for the people of their communities deserve to have a state government that thinks about local government, cops, firefighters, teachers, the real meat and potatoes of what people want and expect out of their government. We believe they deserve a partner on Beacon Hill, somebody who's actually going to work hard to represent the interests of all the Commonwealth cities and towns, and who believes that if you have strong communities, where everybody believes that tomorrow is going to be better than yesterday, where everybody believes they're living in a safe, thriving place that's got its act together and knows where it's going, Those are the kinds of communities you can build a life, build a future, and build a living on. And that's the kind of community we want every community to be across this great state of Massachusetts.
Thank you, Charlie.
Now, as Terrence and Lance both said, we can't get from here to there without your help. We have a convention on March 22nd. It's the Aganis Arena in Boston. We need you all to come out. We need you all to support our ticket. And we need to come roaring out of there with a big, loud message that says it's time for Massachusetts to get out of the muddle. It's time for Massachusetts to underperform, stop underperforming, and it's time for Massachusetts to be the great state that it can be, that reflects the greatness, the ingenuity, the innovative capabilities, the thriftiness and the discipline of the people of this great, wonderful state. And we're all looking forward to spending time with you today. We're looking forward to having a chance to talk to you about this as we head into the convention. But when we come out of that convention, folks, we have got to hit the ground hard and hit it fast and run from March 22nd all the way through to November 4th. And I can tell you right now, Karen and I are going to do everything we can to work with other people who are running for the House and running for the Senate, because while we certainly want to win on November 4th, what we really want more than anything is for a whole bunch of other reform-oriented Republicans running across the Commonwealth to deliver on that notion of two teams on the field, checks and balances against the legislature and Beacon Hill, and the ability to see from the outside in and do the sorts of common sense reforms that everybody in Massachusetts deserves and expects out of state government. So, March, two big dates, March 22nd, November 4th. 250 days plus or minus from here to there. Put on your boots, folks. Strap them up, because we got a lot of work to do between now and then. But when we win in November, we can and we will take Massachusetts in a better direction and deliver the Commonwealth of Mass that every single person can be proud of from one end of Massachusetts to the other. Thank you so much.